Welcome to this training video. In this training video I will go over how to problem solve the Baumer. In this video I will go into how to solve trigger device not found problems. Right now I have set up the demo system, and on screen at the bottom part you can see Baumer error 31, -31, camera open trigger device, and there's a serial number behind it. If I go into browse errors, I only see this error at the bottom part. So only the Baumer error is active, so it means that it can't fully connect to the Baumer, but the cameras are still visible. So if you so there's something wrong in the setup of the Baumer. To check that or to solve it, we need to first figure out what is precisely wrong with the Baumer itself. The first thing that we can do is to check if it's actually connected. That's the first thing that we want to do. But the cameras are actually connected, so there's no camera error. So that means that the cameras are having an Ethernet connection, but we can double check that. So if I go outside Scan Inspector software, and if we go to the network settings over here, I can click on Open Network and Sharing Center. Click on Change Adapter Settings. This will show you all the specific adapter settings. So over here you can see the camera network. The status, what you see over here, means that there is a cable connected to that Ethernet port, so it's actually set up correctly. If it says cable unplugged over here at the status, then you need to check if the cabling is correct. And I have taken a few pictures from inside the control unit to see how you should fix the Ethernet connection itself. Over here there's a picture from inside the control unit, and over here this is where the Baumer is located. So the Baumer is connected with an Ethernet cable that you can see over here that's running into the PC, and from that point there is another Ethernet cable going to the switch on the side, and all the 4 different cameras for the CU6 Control Unit are connected through the switch, through the Baumer into the PC. So right now it's correctly connected. So if this looks different, so if one of the cables is missing, this should be fixed. Also, this Ethernet port is very important. On the PC itself there are 2 Ethernet ports, a top one and a bottom one. This is the correct setup. So the Ethernet cable should always be connected into the top Ethernet port. The bottom one is an undefined Ethernet port and is used either for failsafe, if that's an addition on the system, or it is used for a VPN connection or a remote TeamViewer connection. So this Ethernet port is not set up correctly with the static IP addresses. The stop port over here is always set up with the same IP addresses. If it looks like this, so when the Ethernet cable is connected to the bottom part, this will give you the same error in that the trigger device is not found because the IP addresses are not correct. So we have established that the Ethernet connection is correct, so that the cable is in and that there is a connection with the cameras. So those are working, but there is still something wrong with the Baumer itself. Like I mentioned before, there's a specific IP address that we use. From the camera network I can right click on it. I can go to the properties, and over here down below Ethernet protocol 4, I can go to the properties. You can see over here this is the IP addresses that are set up for that specific Ethernet port on the PC. So these ranges like 192.168.81, that specific IP range needs to be set up also for the Baumer, or else there will be a mismatch with the IP addresses and there won't be a good Ethernet connection between the two. So I will leave it like this. Specifically for the Baumer, to set up the IP addresses, there is a program. On the top left corner you can see Baumer IP Configurator. If I click on this, a program will open up. And right now it will scan for the cameras, and it also will scan for the Baumer trigger device itself. So right now, over here you can see a few things. So over here you can see that it has found a trigger device with a specific serial number, over here. And it also directly mentioned there is something wrong with one of the camera networks. Available interfaces mean this will show you the specific available interfaces on the PC itself. So again, you can see the Ethernet port that is set up for the cameras and for the Baumer. And the other Ethernet port over here, that is our local connection that I'm using at the moment. So I can click on the device, and right now it's not member of a subnet, so there is a specific error. And what we want to do, we want to force IP to all. That's then the system will force an IP to rectify the IP conflict. So you see that right now it's changing it from, it's setting it to 192.168.81.2. That is the correct IP range that needs to be set up. And if I click on OK, so right now the error is gone. If I click on the trigger device, you can see a few settings that pop up. So the standard configuration that we use is a persistent IP, so a static IP address that we want to set up for the trigger device. And over here you can actually see there's an issue. So the IP range is not correct. So the IP range should be 81.2, but it's set at 82.2. So it's in the wrong subnet, so it's not set up correctly. So if we want to put in the correct IP address, we need to change 82 to 81. If I click on set, it will write that information and will set it as the new static default IP address. So right now it is successful. I can click on OK. So right now the trigger device is correctly set up. I can close this one. I can again start the Eagle Vision software, and the Baumer trigger device error should be gone. Right now the error is gone, so you can see there's a good connection with the Baumer trigger device. This is the end of the Eagle Vision training video. Thank you for your attention. Please check out our entire product line and capabilities at eaglevision.nl.